Hello and welcome to the agenda. I am Ajay Kaul. Today we will discuss about the political crisis in Nepal and its impact on India. Nepal is facing a major political crisis ever since its parliament was dissolved over a weekend or a fortnight back on the recommendation of Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli. This curtailed the government's tenure by 2 years and angered Oli's coalition partners, particularly former Prime Minister Pushpak Kamal Dahal Prachanda. The crisis also exposed the increasing indulgence of China in Nepal politics. In the agenda today, we will discuss what the crisis is about and where India stands. We have with us retired senior Indian diplomat Ambassador Satish Mehta, who has handled Nepal affairs in the External Affairs Ministry. And from Nepal, we are joined by senior journalist Kamal Dev Bhattarai. But before we begin our conversation, let's have a look at this small report.
Politics in Nepal has taken a dramatic turn since Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli dissolved parliament a fortnight back. Oli said he took the step because of the internal feud in the ruling Nepal Communist Party or NCP, which he and former Prime Minister Pushpak Kamal Dahal Prachanda had jointly. NCP was formed 2 years back after Oli's Communist Party of Nepal UML and Prachanda's Communist Party of Nepal Maoist joined hands. The alliance stitched by China was an uneasy one since the beginning and now is on the verge of collapse. Prachanda has joined hands with the former Prime Minister Madhav Kumar Nepal and two are coming together for Oli. Observers say that the coming together of Prachanda and Madhav Nepal against Oli may gain some traction for a while, but since both the leaders have followed different principles during the political careers, it will be too early to say how long they will go along as leaders of a party. While it will be interesting to see the unfolding developments in the coming days and weeks, this episode has exposed the growing indulgence by China in the politics of Nepal. This is the first time that China has openly indulged in politics of Nepal, a country which has all through been a close ally of India. Therefore, India needs to be extra watchful lest it cedes space and influence in Nepal. Bureau Report.
Now let's welcome our guest, Ambassador Satish Mehta. Welcome to the program, sir. So, Ambassador Satish Mehta, I'll come to you first. As we are witnessing a political crisis in Nepal, who do you have seen? You have been handled Nepal for a long time. What do you think is the trigger for this crisis?
Look, it is a fight for power which has led to this crisis in Nepal. And the background to this is that this very artificial coming together of the Maoist party of Prachanda and the UML of Prime Minister Oli. It was, if I could use the term, it was a shotgun marriage forced on both sides by China.
Right.
And all of them have serious inner contradictions, difference of views, and tremendous lust of power. And this is what has led to the unraveling of this forced marriage.
But if we notice some developments, like Oli has said that he disbanded parliament or dissolved parliament because he was facing a crisis within this NCP, Nepal Communist Party. What do you say? Why was that? Why did he say that? Was Prachanda gunning for him, or why did he do that?
Yes, it was very clear, and as Prime Minister Oli has mentioned later on also, that Prachanda and some others like Madhav Nepal, who earlier was a part of Oli's party and now has sided with Prachanda, was just simply not allowing him to govern and rule. Let me just touch on 2 points on this. One is that it was Oli's party, which is the UML, or erstwhile UML now, which had won a majority by itself. So they fought elections as a coalition, but which won elections on its own. They had a majority. And after the two parties were merged in this shotgun marriage about which I just mentioned, Prachanda and others who felt left out of power try to destabilize Prime Minister Oli. And beyond the point, he was not willing to accept it, and he dissolved the parliament. Now, on this dissolution of parliament, let me touch on 2 points. You see, he had a very clear majority. He had more than 2,000 of parliamentarians with that. But this is not the first time that it has happened in Nepal. In 1994, Girija Prasad Koirala had dissolved the party again using the same argument that he was not being allowed by his party to rule properly. And the matter went to Supreme Court of Nepal, and it ruled in favor of the dissolution. In 1990, elections were held. In 1995, Mammun Adhikari became Prime Minister from the Communist Party. And soon thereafter, he also dissolved the parliament, citing the same reason, that I was not being allowed to govern by my own party. And Supreme Court upheld the decision of dissolution of parliament. So, eventually it's a decision of the Supreme Court of Nepal. But I would think that Supreme Court, going by the past decision, Supreme Court of Nepal would again accept the dissolution.
Ambassador Mehta, as you just elaborated on the political uncertainty and instability that has been witnessed in Nepal over the decades, but this time what we see, a new thing is like China's interference or indulgence, which is openly out. I mean, it's out now, open, in the open. How do you see that?
Well, you see, this coalition, or rather this merger, was engineered by China.
Right.
And so they had huge stake in keeping it going. But the inner contradictions of this unusual union were far too important and far too great for the various political actors in Nepal to accept Chinese diktat. And as you know, the Deputy Minister of China's Communist Party, Hu Yezu, he was in Nepal for 3 days, just a few days back. And he met everybody in Nepal, including Prime Minister Oli, Prachanda, Madhav Nepal, Shehbaz Deva, well, the entire senior leadership of Nepal. But they couldn't convince them to come together. And I think China had overplayed this hand. That's the way I would see.
Yeah, as you mentioned that China in fact was behind bringing them together. So it started from there. I mean, China has been openly now indulging since then, 2018 or so, maybe earlier. Ambassador Mehta?
Yes, they have been. Yes, they have been. They have been very clearly and very openly interfering in Nepal's political processes and engaging in activities perhaps they should not be doing.
But is it because India has ceded space, or is it like they are trying to capture a space or creating its own space in Nepal? I mean China?
So, look, to see it, you have to take one or two steps back, and which is how democracy functioned and how dictatorial regime functioned. China is a dictatorial regime. It's a one-party state. For them, order is very important. For them, following party diktat is very important. For them, an alternative point of view, express democratically is very inconvenient. And so they wanted Nepal also to act like that, act like the way Chinese act in their own country. Now, I don't think this is possible in Nepal. People of Nepal have fought for this democracy, and they fought very hard. They paid a very heavy price for it. And they resolutely want to keep this democracy, which they have secured after a very long and difficult battle. And they are not going to allow some other country to weaken their democracy or to make it dysfunctional. That's what is happening.
But as you said that people of Nepal have fought very hard for democracy. But at the same time, there are elements in Nepal, we know those elements who are pro-China and want actually maybe pitting China against India. We know there are elements, isn't it?
Indeed. Well, don't we have some people like that in India too?
Right.
And don't we have some people affiliated to, very closely affiliated to China, and who are, if I could say, they're cat's paw here. But you see, that's a problem.
But in India we don't allow. I mean, China is not. Allowed to interfere in politics, at least.
Indeed, but they do it through that, as I said, the cat's paw.
But we have seen in Nepal, that
is how China does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as we saw in Nepal, a Chinese ambassador was openly flirting with the Prime Minister and other leaders. I mean, many believe that she was calling the shots at that time during Oli government. So it was much more to do, than just being an ambassador, isn't it?
So this is bad. This is bad in the first place. And as I said, for people of China and particularly for the government and ambassadors act on the instructions of our government, they cannot understand the alternative point of view. They cannot understand how democracy functions. So it's very alien to them. And when this kind of democratic dialogue starts or democratic disputes start among various parties or within parties, the solution is to dialogue, which is a bit alien to Chinese system. So the solution they use is to go and browbeat various political leaders to fall in line.
But could it
and
be
as they have seen in Nepal, it doesn't work.
Right. So, but could it be like China trying to, or maybe attempting to wean away some politicians or political parties from India?
So some of the political parties very closely aligned to China. It's clear to everybody.
So putting them into...
So there's no doubt on it. Look, there's no doubt on that. There's no doubt on it.
No, now there is more brazenness now. Maybe earlier it was covert, now it is...
Indeed.
Yeah.
It is brazen because the two political parties put together, the Communist parties put together, have secured more than 2/3 of seats.
So is it a matter of concern for India?
Of course it is.
So what is to be done? As an old Nepal hand,
Look,
what is it? Yeah.
Look, see, we can't be seeing developments in Nepal episodically or just from one episode to another. What is our interest in Nepal in terms of political system. And we would like, being a very robust democracy, we would like Nepal to have strong democratic tradition. And it's not that whichever party wins would like to then perpetuate itself to non-democratic means. And we want political parties to sort out their disputes, negotiate, do reconciliation, to both strengthen their democracy and use the democratic instrument, political instrument for development of Nepal, which is how it will be sustained, and which is how policy will sustain, which is how development programs will sustain. So that is what we want to do. That's what we have worked for all through.
Yeah, well, you pointed out that we have worked through, all through for the development of Nepal. But many people feel that the growing maybe anti-India or pro-China sentiment in Nepal is because of the 2015 blockade. So, do you agree with that?
Look, so there are, simply put, there are two Nepal. And not only in terms of government. Okay. There is the Kathmandu-centric Nepal where, as the nation liking the term, all the political chalpal takes place. Okay. So all the trade-offs take place, all kinds of political shenanigans take place. So there is a larger Nepal. Nepal is much larger than just Kathmandu Valley. And there people are interested more in development. Because they are not fighting for political power, they are fighting for the development. Better life, better connectivity, better communication, like any other democracy. And unfortunately, we end up looking Nepal often from the prism of what happens or what is being said in Kathmandu. Understandably, that's what we get to hear more. But and of course, it plays a role in shaping bilateral relations, including sentiments of people, no doubt about it.
But what do you say on the blockade?
So that's what we will deal.
But what do you say?
That's what we will deal with. Yeah. So first of all, this blockade, no matter how it's projected, the fact of the matter is that the blockade was more on the Nepalese side, not on the Indian side. It was the Nepalese people who were preventing things from coming and going.
Right.
And who had made it difficult. So I can't understand why blame India for it.
But the narrative is that it was Indian side which stopped, which was responsible for the blockade. That has been the narrative.
That's what I'm saying. You see, that is what I'm saying. People accept narratives which they want to accept. And the fact of the matter is that the difficulties of trust not being able to pass from the Nepalese side, not from the Indian side. And obviously, you can't send trucks or truck drivers of India or who would face difficulties or who could have been affected through violence restrictions.
But
that's understandable.
But would you agree that India has to make up or maybe be more aggressive in terms of diplomacy and in Nepal?
Look, aggressiveness and diplomacy doesn't go together. First of all.
No. I'm not talking about aggressive in a negative sense. I mean aggressive diplomacy.
Okay.
I mean robust diplomacy. You can say.
As I said, look, we don't have to be too episodic in our relationship with Nepal. It's a very long history of very close relationship. People of Nepal, and I'm not talking just of Madhesi. People of Nepal have marital relations with India and vice versa, including or the most important prominent leaders of Nepal, as well as prominent families of Nepal. They had relationships of marriage. So this is a very long relationship. It's a huge shared culture. We are civilizationally. These are blips. And when looking at blips, we need to, as I said, take 2 steps back and then see. yes, this is a difficult period indeed, no doubt it is. But then we have to see from the long-term perspective of how you build this relationship, how we strengthen Nepal's democracy, which we think is also in India's interest.
Right.
And if for that, using cricket parlance, smart batsmen know which bouncers to hook and which to duck.
So before we conclude, is it like, I hope we are not complacent, because since we talk about age-old relationship, I hope it's not complacency. Just last question.
No, not at all. I mean, this is reality. What I've mentioned to you is reality.
Yeah, I know, but I bet that may also breed complacency, that since we enjoy traditional relations, so it's our space.
No, I don't think we see it like that at all.
Okay.
If you see the enormous sensitivity and forthcomingness with which India has dealt with Nepal, with which India has helped Nepal,
Right.
without ever seeking anything in return. I mean, when Nepal had 4 years, 5 years back now, when Nepal had this massive earthquake, who was the first to respond?
Right.
And tell me, did we wait for Nepal to ask us for any help? Diplomatically, that would have been, let's wait till they ask and then say, okay, because you asked, we gave. We offered it ourselves. That
Right.
is what close relationship is.
Yeah, we are enjoying close relationship, and we hope that that relationship continues with Nepal. But thank you for participating in this debate today, sir. This is all in the agenda today. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with another important topic tomorrow. Till then, goodbye.